Hi everyone. As promised, I thought I would just start the next video just kind of giving you a little bit of a sense of how to start the applications drawing. So this is for Investigation 1A, and this one's a little bit more complicated than the last one, and one of the reasons why is because you'll see multiple instances of the same isobar. For example, you see 1012 millibar isobar here, and 1012 millibar isobar here. And it's so tempting to want to connect them, but that's actually not what we want to do. And the reason why we don't want to do that is because, as I've mentioned before, isobars need to divide higher values from lower values. And there's no way I could actually achieve that. I would break that rule if I tried to connect these two isobars. So what I thought I would do is show you how you are going to draw these isobars, and then hopefully that'll kind of give you a sense of how to go about this particular problem. So first off, this is from the previous video. Let me open up a new one of these. Save it, it actually looks pretty good. So let's see here, 1A intro. Always save your work. Okay, now, let me actually take that video, take that image, and copy it onto my Paint document. And then just like last time, I'll zoom in just a little bit. Don't want to zoom in too much. I guess that works. Okay, so, just like last time, the first thing you want to do is identify where the pressure is the highest and where it's the lowest. Just like last time. On this map, the pressure is the highest in Seattle with 1021 millibars. So that's our highest pressure. Our lowest pressure on this map, and may take a few minutes to look at, our lowest pressure is 998 millibars. Okay, so our highest pressure is 1021, our lowest is 998. So we are going to need to draw isobars for every fourth pressure value between 998 and 1021. And we only draw isobars for pressure values that are divisible by 4. 998 is not divisible by 4. So we are not going to draw one for 998. Let me write over here the ones that we are going to draw. So 998, nope, we're not drawing it. 999, same thing, it's not divisible by 4, we're not going to draw it. 1000, however, is. So we're going to draw 1000. Then we're going to draw 1004, 1008, 1012, 1016, and 1020. So these are all divisible. These are all divisible by 4. And then our high value was 1021, our low value was 998. Alright? So what the manual actually suggests that we do, and I agree with their suggestion, is let's get this tricky 1012 done first. Because that's really going to be the tricky wicket. Everything else is going to be a lot easier. Alright? So, here we actually have 2012 millibar isobars. And these arrows point in what direction you should continue to draw. Let's focus on the one down here in the desert Southwest and entering Texas before we start focusing on the one up there. So, again, I know how tempting it would be to try to connect these two isobars. Please resist that temptation. Here's why. If you attempt it in any way, you will never find a line that connects those two that doesn't violate our rule that all pressure values on one side have to be lower, all would be higher. So let's just say I did it. Let's say I just somehow decided, I'm going to do it anyway. And I drew one like that. If you take a look, On one side of the isobar, I have pressures 1,015, 1,016 higher. Meanwhile, on the other side, also higher. That's bad. We don't want that. No, we want higher on one side, lower on the other side. So this is not good. We're not doing that. Let me show you what we are going to do. All right, so first, let me undo that, and undo that. So we're just going to focus on this 1,012 millibar isobar down here. All right, so we know that we can continue drawing the isobar to there, but take a look at the numbers further east of us. Are there any 1012 millibar isobars over here? Or any 1012 millibar locations over here in the southeast? Whoops, sorry. There are not. So believe it or not, this isobar cannot continue to the east. With that said, this isobar doesn't just stop there either. It actually has to reach the edge of our map, or close to form a perfect circle like that, or not a perfect circle, but a complete circle like this one here. Now it's not going to be able to do that quite perfectly, but here is what it's going to do. Down here, we have a value of 1,011, and over here 1,013. 1012 is going to be halfway between them. Over here we have 1,011 and 1,015. 1012 will be right about there. And what's going to happen is this isobar is going to curve back and cross the Texas-Mexico border. So that is that 1012 isobar. And we're done with it. Now let's focus on the 1012 millibar isobar up here. All right? So the 1012 millibar isobar up here is pretty tricky, but it's not too bad. So again, the first thing you want to do, put a dot anywhere where the air pressure is 1,012 millibars. It's exactly 1,012 millibars. So I see one right here. I see one right there. There's actually one right there, and then there's one right there. Okay, is there anywhere else up here? Over here, there is 1,012 up here. Well, not exactly. I'll get to that in a second, but okay, so I've already put a dot in all the 1,012s. So now what I want to do is I want to find, is this enough to actually give me a sense of how the line's going to look like? Not really. And here's why. Here we have a location where pressure's 1,011. Here a location where pressure's 1,016. So what we're going to do, put a dot in between them. 1,011 and 1,015, we're going to do the same thing. Let me make sure that 1,011 and 1,013 right here, and right there, and right there. Now I'm starting to see a little more shape. Now I'm starting to see a little more shape. And right there. And now I think I see enough to connect it. So starting here, we can go down. And starting to connect it. Let's just make sure that this looks good. There's a couple of ways that you could probably draw this isobar right here. I don't think there's any that are going to be perfectly correct or perfectly incorrect. Just best guess. But this looks pretty good. So again, to double check, what you want to make sure is that everything on one side of the line is less than 1,012. I see that right here. And then down here, everything is greater than 1,012. Got it. That looks good. And then, is there anywhere else on this map where 1,012 would be? Not down here. Everything down here is above 1,012. not up here, not over here, but there is one location up here. And if you don't include this one, I'm not going to get upset, so don't worry. But right here between 1010 and 1015, there would be 1012 millibar isobar between them. Now you could make an argument if you wanted that these two isobars would connect. Maybe, maybe not. I'm not worried about that. We're just focusing over the United States. We don't have any information about up in Canada, so we're just not going to worry about it. All right, now let's do 1016, and then I'm going to stop there. So we have 1016 right here. 1016 right here. 1014 and 1017 right there. 1015 and 1017 right there. 1015, 1017 right there. So again, I'm either putting a dot right in the middle of 1016 or I'm eyeballing, and it's not going to be perfect, but I'm eyeballing where it would potentially be 1016. So what I'm actually seeing here, just from the looks of it, I'm getting an impression that this is likely going to be some kind of circle. Likely going to be some kind of circle. And if I connect my dots, let's see what I get. And yeah, I think that that's pretty much it. So in some cases, isobars close to form a perfect circle. And then let's just check just to make sure. Everything outside of the circle is below 1016. Everything inside the circle, greater than 1016. So now we've got 1012 done. There's another location over here where there's 1016. And again, we know these two don't connect because everything in between them is below 1016. So let's focus on this second one real quick. 1016. So again, all I'm doing right now is drawing in locations where the air pressure is approximately 1016. We have 1016 up here, 1016 right there, 1016 right there. Looks like it's going to go just like that. It's going to squiggle in between the 1014 and the 1017. Then we'll have 1016 right here. Ooh, there's a nice tricky one right down here. Actually, right here, 1016 right there. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is once again connect the dots. And didn't quite perfectly connect that one. That's okay. So what we end up getting is something that's going to look almost like a little finger. Almost like a little finger that pokes out. I'm a little curious as to how that actually looks like on the map, but there you go. So another possibility is this could have also just been a circle on its own. That's also a possibility. Okay. And then I've done just about all of them over here. There's no 1016s over here. There was one here. There was a 1020 over here. I don't think there are any other 1020s over here. The only other ones that you need to do are 1008, 1004, and 1000. And I'll give you a hint. They're all going to be up here. All right, so that's it for Investigation 1A. Everything else should be relatively straightforward. Make sure that you read the questions. Make sure that, that you just check everything. If you're unsure about your answers, I can't give you the answers, but I can kind of let you know if you're on the right direction. So please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Please don't hesitate to ask questions. I'm more than happy to help. All right? So that's it for Investigation 1A.